and you won't see much. And all like that. Out of fear of you, your child will subdue his ecstasies. Therefore, if you just be patient and observe from the sidelines and don't say much, maybe you'll see more. Srivas Thakur told her. So basically she chilled out after that. You know, Lakshmi, Sachimata didn't have much anxiety about that after that. Very interesting shloka in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Your son's ecstasies is perfectly fine. We would actually like to have some of that. And Srivas Thakur said, please be patient, mother, and don't say a word. And if you're patient, perhaps you may see more. Very interesting. Very interesting comments. It's about Gauranga's ecstasies. Even in his, after he went to Gaya and became initiated by Ishwar Puri in Gaya, he returned completely changed over. He was not the Nyayak, you know, the rambler, scholar, and pundit that everybody knew. And Navadvip was a mess at the time. A lot of people were absorbed in Nyaya or absorbed in Tarka and like that. Nyaya is logic, Tarka is argumentative argument, like this. So there was different groups of scholars. Navadvip was the seat of learning, and Bhakti was really reduced. So much so that Advaitacharya got very angry. And he says, look, Gauranga, you must do something about these people. And if you don't, I'm going to kill them all. You know, all these scholars, I'll just manifest my form with my chakra and I'll just simply kill them all. You know, so Advaitacharya was praying to Gauranga that you must do something. So the prayers are so feeling. When the Panchatattva come back from the Ganga in chapter 1 of Madhya Ganga, and they're all coming back, and Gauranga's Seva Baba comes out, he gives them kusha grass and gives them baskets of flowers from the bank of the Ganga. Sometimes he gives them Ganges mud to take back for their puja, and sometimes he would wring out their dhoti, their wet dhoti from taking bath, and present them a dry one in exchange. And all the members of the Panchatattva would shower their affectionate words on Gauranga with great paternal affection. And they would say, oh, Gauranga, you're a great scholar. And these people in Navadvip, they just don't know what is devotional service. And we're feeling very helpless and very frustrated at seeing their mood. And if only you could do something. If only you could do something about them. Surely you'll do something. You should do something about these things, you know. And so Gauranga was pretending as if he wasn't who he was. And he would say, all of you are very, very dear to Bhagavan. And surely he must be hearing all your prayers and all your statements, and surely he will do the needful. You know, you know, it's very sweet. You know, Gauranga, you should do something. All these people from Navadvip, all these scholars, they just don't know what they're saying. And you should do something. You should uplift them. You know, we're suffering so much, and you should do something about it. All of you are very dear to the Lord, and surely he must be hearing everything you're saying, and surely he'll do something about it. So very sweet when you hear these prayers. They're like 50 shlokas in a row, or something like 25, 30, 40 shlokas in a row, one after another. And for those that, if any of you need to learn how to give blessings to a subordinate, I think that they're probably the best shlokas I ever found of a superior blessing a junior. You know, such the sweetest shlokas there. And the Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Ganga chapter 1, and when all of them come from the bank of the Ganga and they bless Gauranga, and so many sweet words. All of the Panch. Gadadhara was Gauranga's chum. Scholar was a friend, and they were roughly the same age. Actually, we described that Gadadhara was, well, Radharani's Juti. It's forms of Gaur and Gadadhara, just like your Gaur Nitai here. One arm up and one arm down. This is actually Gaur Gadadhara pose. Of course, Prabhupada installed them as Gaur Nitai anyway, and the same in Sydney in 1971. Janani Vas was telling me the story that the Sydney devotees, when Prabhupada unpacked them from the crate, they're now at Chestnut Farm in Sydney Farm, North Sydney Farm. No Gokul. I saw them. I visited that farm. And very nice place. They're trying to host seminars there and like that. Pretty cool little place, to tell you frankly. It was cold when I went there. But it's also very neat place, very charming. About 2 hours outside of Sydney. So anyway, when they installed the deities, the Gaura-Nitai deities in 1971, Prabhupada, they had packed the deities from the crates. They brought them from India on the plane or something. They opened up the crates and Prabhupada goes, "This is a Gaura-Nitai, this is Gaura Gadadhar." So then all the Siddhi devotees wrote Janadivas that, "Hey, Gaura Gadadhar, how are you supposed to worship Gaura Gadadhar?" So Janadivas went around to the various Gaudiya maths and they found that Gaura Gadadhar worship is, well, you look at them externally as Gauranga and Gadadhar, but internally you're worshiping them as Radha and Krishna. Basically, and there's an arti song, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's own deities were Gaura and Gadadhar deities. And he wrote a whole arti song, which is in Katavali. Bale Gaura Gadadhara arati nehari Nadia Purave Bhave Jao Polihari. And then from there on, it's gone. You're in Radha Krishna Lila by then. Gone. After that line in the bhajan is Kalpataru Tale Ratna Singasano Pori Sabusaki Bestita Kishora Kishori. Basically from that on time, you're in Vrindavan, at the joke pit, at the joke pit near Radha Govinda Mandir with Radha and Krishna together in the Singhasan and surrounded by their associates, the Ashtasaki gone, and you're gone, and you're no longer in Navadvip, you're gone, and that's what Gaura Gadadhar Bhava means. So, devotees asked Pankajchandra, what's Gaura Gadadhar like? And so he went around and he asked, and the Gaudiya Math devotees told him that that's what it was. It's basically, you're worshipping them externally, but you're singing Radha Krishna songs to them and you're totally absorbed in Radha and Krishna, and like that. But Prabhupada installed him as Gaura-Nitai anyway, understanding that obviously that he said, "Now, my dear Lord, I have brought you now in the land of the Malechas, and I beg that you please give them intelligence so that you may not be inconvenienced." He said the exact same thing when he installed Radhakunja Bihari in Detroit in 1976. "My dear Lord, now I have invited you to come and live here in the land of the Malechas. And I beg you please give them intelligence in the heart so that you may not be inconvenienced." Same thing, he said, same thing. So it's very interesting. Of course, as Narottam Thakur Mahasaya says, that by worshipping Nityananda Prabhu, then Braje Nityayara Koruna Habe Braje Radha Krishna Pave Taru Nitai Charana Dukhani, that by Nityananda's lotus feet, then you can get Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Therefore, without any hesitation, grab the lotus feet of Nitai. Just like that. So, okay, they're installed as Nitai Gaur, and they're like that. But in Bhav Seva, really, you can approach them any way you like in Bhav Seva. Just like, for example, in Hari Bhakti Vilas, it states that by Sanatan Pad that there are 108 different forms of Shalagram. But in Bhav Seva, you can worship any Shalagram as any Vishnu Tattva you like. So if you see your Lord manifested, then He's there. And in Bhav Seva, you don't change your Bhava, that's all. But in Bhav Seva it means that, because the Lord is Bhava Grahi, He's interested in accepting and holding your mood. So, and Bhava, Nitai Chand was telling me once in Radhakund something that, some statement of Gadadhar does, that Bhava rules the kingdom of the heart. I never got that. It was a lament of Gadadhar Das. Oh, nahi more, I didn't get. Oh, and he says something that Bhava rules the kingdom of the heart. Very interesting. I was talking in Vrindavan, but I never got it back. Later on, when I bump into him, eventually, when I cross path, and I'll have to ask him again for the verses like that. So Bhava